Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather around for a unique look into the world of custom motorcycling. We've gathered some of the industry's top builders and fabricators on this stage to show you their skills live and in person. Watch as they chop, grind, and weld their creations into existence right before your very eyes. Feel free to ask questions at any time directly to your host, Pat Jansen. The doors to the shop are open, so pull up a stool, kick back, and welcome to the Grease and Gears Garage.
All right, guys, Grease and Gears Garage here. Thanks to Progressive Motorcycle Insurance, we are here at the Leesburg Bikefest. They've been kind enough to invite us to be with them at 4 rallies this year. We'll probably do 14 of these shows across the country at different motorcycle events. What is Grease and Gears Garage? Well, basically, we are all guys that used to be models, underwear models. In Bill Dodge's case, he was a face mask model. He did ski masks mostly. RJ was a hand model, but we build custom motorcycles. That's what we do. We're in the custom motorcycle world, and we saw that people had a real desire, a real hunger to know more about what makes that happen. So we're just inviting you into our garage basically here today. So if you have a question, you want to get up closer, you can't see something on the screen, just come up and ask. We also Facebook Live this. So we're going to be joined by several thousand people around the world on Facebook that watch us on this. We have a YouTube channel, Grease and Gears Garage, so you can go watch it like TV. So if there's something that you miss here today, you can pick it up later on Grease and Gears Garage YouTube. Go to Cycle Source Magazine. They also carry us. And if you like what you see, make sure that you go to Progressive Motorcycles page, Progressive MC on Instagram. Tell them thanks for bringing Grease and Gears Garage to Leesburg Bikefest. On that note, also, Progressive Motorcycle Insurance is giving away a free motorcycle I found out this weekend. They're giving away a brand new Indian Scout. Go over there and see one of their girls sign up. You get a chance to win a free motorcycle. That would make this day worth having come to Leesburg Bikefest for sure. What do we got? We got a lot of guys up here doing a lot of stuff. I've got Barry and Dana from Accurate Engineering. This weekend, they've been going down. They're tearing down this Panhead motor completely, telling us what you're going to be looking for in a Panhead motor when you tear it down to see what was going on with it so you can address it as you rebuild it. We also, as Grease and Gears Garage, have had the opportunity to do some really cool stuff. Twisted Tea, the adult beverage, had us build this particular chopper for them last year. So we built this for them, and now they've got us building another one called T-Tracker, which is this little tracker bike here that we're going to be working on. In addition to that, we got asked by Progressive if over the 4 shows we were going to be with them, if we would build them a custom motorcycle. So we're building, this is the donor bike here. We got Bill Dodge, world famous Bill Dodge, the millionaire from Daytona, with Bling Cycles. And Bill is helping us start on this project. We're tearing the front end down, and he's showing us here on stage how to shave front legs, how to take the unnecessary brackets off. Because on that particular bike, which also will end up being a little tracker cafe bike, on that particular bike, we want to maintain the front brake, but we want to lose the front fender, so we don't need the brackets. So we're going to go over how do you do that, not with a lathe, but with a grinder, some sandpaper, and a cutoff wheel. We got Chris Callen up here. Chris is the founder, owner, editor, Cycle Source Magazine. He's my partner in crime with Grease and Gears Garage, and he wants to talk in the microphone now, so I'm going to give it to him at the count of 3. 1, 2, get ready. This is big.
See, I got a hard time getting the mic off him. Listen, man, I want to tell you guys just for a second how special this is. On this stage right now, having somebody, Barry Wardlaw, tearing apart a 1949 Panhead. Yeah, this was a real treat to get Barry out here. If you're not familiar with Accurate Engineering, go home and look it up. This man damn near invented the Panhead. He made all the stuff that was bad better and keeps us on the road with him. Mr. Bill Dodge from Bling Cycle up here working. The 2 of them working on this stage. If that wasn't enough, we got more custom stuff going over here with RJ doing a seat pan. This is open shop hour. This is our favorite time when we all just get in the shop.
Unless we're going to cut these off.
Tell stories, hit our projects, man, and it's good times. Usually there's a bottle of whiskey going around, but that's a different show. Well, not here. But I want to thank Progressive personally for this, because this is a real testament of their, their commitment to the motorcycle world and the culture that's around it and stuff, bringing us out here and doing this with you guys. So thanks to everybody at Progressive for that.
Is that what he said?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, we do have RJ Powell from Cutting Edge Customs. I always say that it's Cutthroat Customs out of West Virginia, but it's Cutting Edge.
I cut that off like 2 hours ago.
This is an unusual thing to be able to see this many custom builders on a stage doing their thing. Now, we've talked to a couple of these guys.
Hey, you need to tell them what an honor it is for us guys to work with Barry.
Barry has built, I mean, not just a few motors. Barry built for one customer, he told me yesterday, over 800 motors. Barry has built thousands of motors. Bill Dodge told me this morning he's built over 300 custom motorcycles in his 24-year career.
That's nothing compared to 800 motors.
But I mean,
for one person.
so this is just incredible. These guys are the true heroes. Bill's got a great event. Tell us about your event in October, Bill, up in Tennessee.
What I got is we have this big party at Loretta Lynn's house. You can't hear me? Can you hear me better now? Anyways, we have a party there. It's called the Tennessee Music and Motorcycle Revival. And in addition to that, I have my own show there called the BC Moto Invitational. And I invite people that I like, people that make motorcycles, that craft themselves, but also people that are good folks, not a bunch of douchebags. I don't want a bunch of douchebags at my show. So we invite really good people. They bring their top bike of the year or their life, depending on how many bikes they build. And then we also bring some of the newer guys that don't know everybody, so they could maybe learn a little bit of the motorcycle etiquette that we all know so well and treat everybody right,
Right on. So, and it's a cool thing. It's private property, Loretta Lynn's ranch. And he also told us earlier you can shoot up to a 50 caliber weapon on the property. So October 4th through the 7th, the place to be is Loretta Lynn's ranch.
It's all camping inclusive, so you camp there on the property. If you drink, you get drunk, you don't go anywhere.
You just lay down where you last stopped.
You could bring your family and have a different part of the area. No kids are around, no drunkenness. It's a really good
I saw
event.
when you did this drunkenness, you kind of surrounded me with that, Bill. I don't know what that was about. I'm going to go over here now. Oh, my God. Getting called out.
It's at Loretta Lynn's house in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. It's just outside of Nashville.
Just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, October. October 4th through the 7th.
In the beginning of October. It's a lot of fun.
And we've got more information about Bill's event. Bill's set up over here with all of his stuff. But, Barry is the wizard of Dothan, Alabama. He's been doing accurate engineering. He's been doing this for a long, long time. Way before, S&S got into the replica Panheads and stuff, Barry was building and already upgrading and modernizing knuckleheads and Panheads. So, Barry, tell us kind of where we are and what we've got going now.
I love this tool. You see that? From my Storm.
Here, talking about.
Check.
No.
Okay, here we are while they fix my microphone. We tore down the top end yesterday. It's only taken me about 2 days to pull this motor down.
Pretty amazing.
We described some of the components and things that we ran into, conditions that you look for.
We wouldn't be here if we weren't.
This is a 19. Let me spin this around. From the numbers on the left case, the 49 EL, 61 cubic inch motor originally. And as we tore it down, we found out that it has dash 74 connecting rods in it, which means they are the original, they're 30 thousandths shorter. I also measured the cylinders. They're 3 7/16. The EL motor is a 3.5 inch stroke. 3 5/16 bore. This is a 3 7/16 bore, and it's going to have a 3 31/32 stroke. 0.9688 inches. How you like that? That's not too bad, for an old guy. So we have a 74 cubic inch motor in EL cases, which is not uncommon. We've torn everything down. Earlier we described a lot of the areas we were dealing with, everything, and we stopped at these shafts right here. This holds the generator drive gear. This holds the circuit breaker drive gear, controlling your ignition system. We found them both loose, not uncommon, and we're picking it up from there, actually. I would like to say this. When you see a Harley-Davidson, especially an early model, and it pukes oil on the ground, there's a couple reasons for that. But one that has not been sitting around, and it does it, it comes from this area right here. This is a rotary breather. It has an opening and a closing. It's timed. As the piston comes down, the crankcase area underneath the piston is evacuated through this hole by this window. What we have is when any contaminants get into the crankcase area, we find it in that rotary breather. Originally, when we tore this motor down, started on it, we found a cork panhead gasket covered in silicone. I see this all the time. Today, when we pulled the rotary breather out, it was filled with silicone. So now the crankcase can't breathe well. It's going to puke oil. You're going to blame it on God knows what. You're probably going to have to lap your ball again, which is incorrect. And it was really caused by silicone on a gasket that got into the oil retrieval system coming out to the rotary breather. So where we are right now, I'm going to remove the oil pump. Dana's going to help me, Dana Peters from Dothan, Alabama. And that's where we are.
Talk into that one and see if that one's working.
Check.
He's going to go check. Cash, EBT cash, check on his microphone. I'm going to go do something. Yeah, it's on. You're on. Yeah, that's fine. Whoa. Getting frisky. It's getting to be Saturday night.
Now.
All right. Now, we've also got RJ back here. RJ, I'm doing awesome. It's good to see you, little buddy. What are you doing back here on the T-Tracker?
Well, the T-Tracker today, we're actually building the seat pan for it. So basically how we start out with that is some cardboard. I actually prefer a donut box from breakfast this morning. So we're literally just making a shape right now, and we're going to whittle away at it until we get down with a nice little, about a big eighth to a small quarter all the way around it, because this seat's actually going to set down in the round rod here, kind of like how the T-Chopper is. And it's just a way we like to do our seats. So, if you want to keep watching me here, I'll just keep whittling away here in a few minutes. I'll be actually taking this over to some 18-gauge steel, transferring it to that, and then we'll be getting it fit up. Take a couple of actually fender bolts. We're actually going to weld to the inside of this. We have some tabs down here that the bolts will come up through, and it'll actually hold the seat pan on. And then we're going to have an upholster come in this weekend. I think tomorrow, upholster this seat for us, and then we're going to go back to working on the tail section. So it's pretty simple. It's a little bit time consuming.
Right on. So if you're paying really close attention, you're going to get to see how to finish building a Panhead motor up here. You're going to get to see how to build a seat pan for a custom motorcycle. And I don't know, Bill Dodge. Bill, what are you doing back there?
Done.
Bill, come up here and show me what you did. I don't believe you.
No, I'm
I
not
guarantee you he's not all the way done.
No, we did the preliminary. A lot of people can shave legs on a lathe, but not a lot of people can do it by hand. So I'm just showing people the right way to angle it, to cut it off right. I'll get rid of. By the time I'm done, all this stuff will be gone. It'll be ready to polish.
You know the little casting lines that you get on the sides of forks. Bill's been showing us how to take those off as well and polish these up. He did a more complete showing of that earlier today. But you can go to Grease and Gears Garage on our YouTube channel or on Cycle Source Magazine's Facebook page, and you can check that out and all that's there. So now you're done with your job, is what you're saying.
Well, I did the main part of it so far. Now I'm going to go back there with the DA and bring it all to life and make it look like ready to polish.
All right.
Still looks kind of ugly, but
all right. Well, Bill, you're working in my garage today, so I got to tell you, get back to work.
Yeah. Where's my paycheck?
Wow, I just told a hero to get back to work. Paycheck. Bill, there's water. That's what we give for pay around here.
Where's my box of tools?
Sorry about that. Now, Chris, when does Billy Grotto show up?
I don't know, but he's bringing all the Twisted Tea girls, so we're like willing to be flexible.
Yeah. Billy Grotto with Twisted Tea walks around with the Twisted Tea girls all the time, and so we always wait for them. We had a bikini contest up here on the stage earlier today. I wasn't involved in it, I mean, as a participant or anything, but I told those girls, if I was 20 years younger, I'd have let them say, hey, get away from me, you old creep, because even 20 years ago they were too young for me. But so Billy hangs out with those kind of girls. They're going to be up here in a minute, and we'll introduce you to Billy, who goes around and does all the marketing. Oh, there's Billy Grotto right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Billy Grotto. Billy, run. Make those girls run. Run. That's what we like. It's now I'm in an episode of Baywatch right away. Nice. Just remember, no matter how good looking they are, somebody someplace is tired of putting up with their crap, right? That's the truth right there. All right, Billy. Billy, tell me who you brought with you.
I brought the hottest chicks in Leesburg just for you. You guys ready for them or what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm very tired of looking at Pat.
Yeah.
Nah, he's a handsome fella. Look at him. Come on, look at that beard, man.
Look at this, exactly.
What's going on over here? What's going on over here? Leesburg, can I get a hell yeah? All right, thanks. I heard that. You guys having fun? Cool. Hell yeah. What do we got cooking over here, man?
I got Barry is building a 49 pan motor. I've got Bill Dodge back here. I got these guys working for me today, right? Bill Dodge is shaving some lower legs over here on your T-Tracker. Not for your T-Tracker, but next for the Progressive bike. But this is your T-Tracker. We're working on it over here. That's going to be your rear fender, man.
That's bad to the bone. Hey, Bill, hang on a second, man. Can you shave the lower legs of the promo models over here? Dun-dun-dun. That was a joke. Lighten up.
Bill, he was just asking you if you could shave the girls' legs with that, but we won't go that far. So we're excited about all that. Hey, Chris, tell us how this relationship with Billy started.
Well, back in the day, we drank a lot, and Billy was our dealer. Since then, we've got to be really good friends. No, seriously. This all started when it was our 20th anniversary of Cycle Source magazine. To celebrate that really big, we wanted to build a motorcycle to give away to our readers. So Billy signed on for that. We built this bike over the course of a winter, and, you know, all the social media, you can go back and check it out. And then between Cycle Source magazine and Twisted Tea, we just gave it away. All you had to do was sign up. It was free to enter, and we gave the bike away. The best part of this story, I can tell you, was heartbreaking, and it was the best part. The people that won it had a child with special needs, and their medical bills were so crazy. The guy had to sell his motorcycle to pay medical bills. So, like, it broke him down when he won the bike. It was even worse when he came to us and said that he was probably going to have to sell this one to pay for more medical bills. So give a hand to this man right here in Boston Beer, because they stepped up and they gave that family the cash value for this bike, and we ended up keeping it and making sure they could take care of their family. It's a great story. We're gonna write all about it in Cycle Source magazine, but they stepped up for us and then stepped right up for the family too. Those are good people.
Now, Billy, I remember when Twisted Tea came out, and I thought, well, that's dumb. But I didn't know anything about it. You know, it was a new product, and I'm a redneck. I'm old school. It's like, well, that doesn't come in a Pabst Blue Ribbon can. How can you drink that? What is that? That's like, now, you've been with Twisted Tea for a long time now, and you guys really took to the motorcycle community. Tell me about that and that marketing angle to come after motorcyclists.
Well, thanks, Pat. You know what? Because nobody's here drinking wine, you know, nobody's drinking beers made in ingredients you can't understand what it is, and it costs you $12 for a pint of it. I mean, Twisted Tea goes best with a mass domestic beer. So when you're done mowing the lawn, you don't have to have a yellow beer anymore. You could have yourself a Twisted Tea. And it's great to drink. It's brewed tea with alcohol in it. Same alcohol it's in beer. It's non-carbonated. It's 5%. And, you know, whenever I'm drinking and doing stuff around the house, I always put beer down, then I can't find it, and then the next morning I find all these half-empty beers. But now with Twisted Tea, I find a half-empty one, and I pour it over ice because it's not carbonated, and it's fantastic. I solved that problem right away. But the reason why we took to motorcycles so much is because, you know what? The motorcycle industry is the last place where people are still having a good time. And there's no BS, and there's no politicking, and everybody's here just having a good time. And that's where we want to be. I don't want to be somebody where I got to explain to somebody what it is, you know what I mean? So that's where we know we're with the right people. And, hey, I love to ride motorcycles, so there's that. Hey.
I got to tell you guys a good story, man, because we did so much last year with this motorcycle and Billy. We went all over the country. But one of the best moments was we were live on stage at the Buffalo Chip right before Ozzy Osbourne took the stage, and we took this bike up there, which they were a little nervous about. But we didn't ride it. So the best part of that, though, was I had all these builders and painters and everybody that helped build this bike, and they're all standing backstage. They're all goofing around. And I chuckled, and they said, well, what are you laughing about? And I said, I can't wait to see your face when we turn that corner and you're looking at 65,000 people. I can't wait to see. And, man, sure enough, we rolled that bike around the corner, and there's Ozzy's crowd at the Buffalo Chip. And all of those guys, the color just ran right out of their face, and they were like, it was the best.
People always look at me and say, Pat, you get these cool gigs. You go to the Buffalo Chip. You're always in front of people on stage. You got the easiest job in the world. So occasionally I get one of my jack-off friends on stage in front of a crowd like that. I hand them the mic, and they say, what do I say? I was like, that's the damn trick now, isn't it? Yeah, nobody's up here talking in your ear. So, no, but a great partnership with Billy and Twisted Tea, and he brings beautiful girls. And so they'll sign your programs or whatever. I don't know. They'll do whatever you need them to do. Now, take pictures with them. Yeah, that thing. That they'll do. They'll do that for you. And so we got a lot going on. Now, Barry, where are we now?
All right. We're disassembling the oil pump. What we've done is taken off the snap ring on the inside off the oil pump driven gear. The drive gear is on the pinion shaft. The driven gear is on the oil pump shaft. We've taken the outer cover off, and I want to show y'all this. You have two towers on these oil pumps. You have one that stops the drainage from your oil tank by gravity onto the damn ground. There's a spring and a 3/8 check ball. It opens up at about 1.5 inch pounds. This is the one that caused everybody the grief. They say lap it, they say do this. We make a tool that actually goes in and recuts that area, reestablish that seat. The lapping, I've done it. We've all done it. The next tower here is your second stage. It opens up at about 5 to 7 pounds. This is the one that does most of the work. Dana just came up with a little system here to get the check ball out. Go ahead and show this, Dana. We're going to pull the check ball out. There's a spring above it, a very light spring. This is the one that controls the gravity feed from the oil tank to the oil pump. This light spring, this 3/8 check ball. Second stage, higher pressure. It has a plunger. Where's the tool? The tool? No, the tool, the oil pump tool. Right here. All right. About 18 years ago, I came up with this oil pump plunger tool. We see people go in there and they put screwdrivers in here. They gouge the bore. You may have done it yourself. They wouldn't admit it. But what happens is they ruin the bore of the oil pump. And it's common. We see this all the time. Or they don't take it out because glass bead or some kind of contaminant and they can't get it out. So I came up with this tool years ago. You'll hold this for me. And you pull the plunger out undamaged. You can also use this to prime your oil pump on bench assembly. To take the plunger off, 1/4 turn, snap it, pull the plunger off, pull the plunger off. No damage to the oil pump, no damage to the plunger, and your grandmother still frickin' loves you.
Have you sell those tools?
I sell those tools, but my grandmother comes with them. No, I do sell those tools. Yes, we do. Now we're going to pull the oil pump out with the shaft on the pump. And there's a thing. My my clip-on microphone isn't working, so I'm having to do a couple. A lot of times when you buy these aftermarket oil pumps, what happens is this area where my finger is actually touches the crankcase up here. And it will leak, and it will drive you crazy. It doesn't look like it touches, but it touches. You can relieve part of your crankcase, or you can relieve part of the oil pump. What I would suggest is just fit it, look, fit it without the gasket. Fit it, look. If it's got clearance, I would say 5 to 7 thousandths. I'd go as far as 10, more the better. And just relieve a little bit. But it's a common problem we see from oil pumps leaking simply because it touches part of a casting up here. Variables in casting.
Where are we going next then?
On the early models, they have an air oil separator. This is where when you're breathing out of your crankcase breather and all the oil is either coming out or not coming out, hopefully, it all happens right here where I'm pointing with my finger, right up in here. And what separates it is it comes out of the tube in the crankcase or the gear case cover, and it's going to go out the tube in the crankcase and out your exit tube on the crankcase into your primary cover. You need to separate the oil out of the air before it comes out of the crankcase so it's not oil on the ground. This is the device that helped do that back in the early days. The screen, it grabbed contaminants, but it was an air oil separator. If I'm restoring an engine, I use them. If I'm not restoring an engine, I don't use them because there's other things you can do to slow that down, and you do those modifications with the rotary breather, actually. What we're going to do now is work a little bit. We're going to separate the crankcase. I'm going to pull these dowels out, or these shafts out, and we're going to separate the crankcases.
All right. I'm going to come back and check with you in a little minute. Well, he's a messy little guy, though. He got oil all over everything. I feel like I'm working. What are you doing, Chris? That's a piece of metal. Thank you very much. Go back to work. No, Chris, what do you got?
So we made a template and we roughed in the design for our seat pan. I'm going to take it over to the belt grinder and bring the edges in nice and tight. We left 1/4 of an inch out here so that when we get this done, the upholstery guy can come in, with the padding and the material and everything. So what we typically do for our seats, because we're doing hardtail custom stuff, is we always run round rod around the outside so these things pop down in real nice and go right up against that material.
Right on.
We still need to break that.
Still going to have to, he's going to put it on the brake and so that it's got the kick up. We got a metal brake someplace around here. If you don't have a metal brake, you can always, if you have a pickup truck, who's got a pickup truck, you stick the metal in your tailgate and you can roll that up. I did that for years because I didn't know any better. That's the way I was taught. I thought that was a feature of the truck. So I've used the tailgate of a truck for probably 15 years. When I was a teenager up through college and a little beyond to as a metal brake. So if you can just get a hold of, or use your neighbor's truck if you're afraid of damaging yours. Nobody ever locks their tailgate, so that's a safe bet to do. All right, I want to see what Bill's doing. Bill Dodge. Is Bill Dodge. Bill Dodge to the main stage. Bill to the main stage. There's a 3-song dance for Bill Dodge at the main stage. All right, come bring it up here, Bill. I can't see that far. I'm old. Nah, here we go. Bill can.
Sorry. I didn't know
Bill.
you were that special.
Now, Bill, tell them what you started with and what you've ended up with.
Well, there's no more ugly fork legs up here. So this is off that 01 Sportster. It had 2 fender tabs here. We took those out, shaved it with just a simple sander instead of using a lathe. Came out pretty good. I got a little more paper to run on it, and it'll be ready to polish.
And so what Bill has explained to us, tell them again, you started with, you cut it off with a cutoff wheel, and then you go flap wheel, 60 grit, and tell them the different progressions.
Yeah, I start off with, obviously there's little tabs sticking off here. I just cut them off with just a angle grinder with a cutoff wheel without digging into it. Just cut it off and leave it hanging on for a little bit. Then I use 60 grit flapper wheel, which works the best with aluminum. And I take it down real flat then and get it down to level with the rest of the leg. And then I just build it down from 60 grit on down to 320 to 400.
So, and this is the same process Bill used on this little red bike over here that he built.
Yeah.
If you'll see those lowers,
those
he
ones
did
are
those
finished.
by hand and polished them himself in his shop and everything. So that's what you can do using this process by hand and 2 tools.
Yeah, you could actually, I use 2 different angle grinders, but only because I want a cutter on one and a grinder on one. You can use the same grinder, cut it all off, do the main sanding with that, and then a DA will clean it up.
Yeah, so I mean,
A lot of fun. I like doing them this way better than the lathe because everybody's got a lathe. Not everybody does it by hand.
that's craftsmanship, you know.
It's way more fun.
Yeah, it's not cheating. It's laser cheating.
No, I still sweated back there. Just a little.
That's right. So but we were talking earlier too, Bill, and this is a good way if you don't want to tear apart your bike that you're riding now, but you want to start working on some of these skills. This is a great project to start with. You go find an old Yamaha, an old Honda, something less than $1,000.
Or your new Harley, who cares?
Or your brand new Harley. I mean, if you want to do it on your brand new
Cut it
Harley, please God, video it and take pictures. And then call us because depending on what area you're in, we'll finish that for you. And it doesn't always go well the first time.
Yeah, well, this is one of those things that, okay, I've been doing it for a long time, but anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. But, you know, this is a project that you can do. You can take the front end. If you get a service manual, it'll show you how to disassemble your front end. You get the lowers off, and you can do this. You know, worst case scenario, you're going to put them back on. You didn't do anything to the internals. You're not damaging anything.
When I do it at the shop, of course, I take it all apart and make it really nice, but I wanted to show you that it's not that hard done.
Yeah, it's
really
not that. This isn't that hard to do. So that's what Grease and Gears Garage is about. We're trying to demystify some of what custom motorcycles is, so that people will get out there and start doing it.
Yeah.
Bill is great because Bill always says, "Man, why wouldn't we want to help other people? You know, get into this and do this. Is it going to?"
I'm getting old. Somebody's got to take over.
And it's not stealing out of our pockets. It's helping grow an industry. So. So if you got any questions, make sure that you ask them because that's why we're here.
I'll be right there. Just ask me anything
Absolutely.
you want. I'm
All
not
right.
shy.
Bill, that's not shiny yet, so get back to work.
What's
Back to work.
What's that?
He said if I have questions, I said how big is this pipe?
All right,
pipe?
let me see. Chris,
It depends.
I got Chris Callen back here. I don't think you can see it.
I'll
Chris,
just leave
what
it
are
at
you
that.
using as a brake right now instead of a Chevy tailgate?
We're actually going to score this metal so it's a little bit easier to bend for us, and then we're going to clamp it down to the table over there, and we're going to bring it around. I mean, that's, you know, we just got a whole bunch of these tools, so in our garages back home we use whatever the hell we can use. A good section of bed metal, angle iron from old bed somebody threw out, that makes a great brake. 2 pieces of that.
Nothing makes a round.
I don't know if you heard me. I was telling him I've
makes
used.
a nice round piece like the top of an acetylene bottle.
Yeah, I use tailgate to a truck, man. You can roll it right around.
Exactly.
So what Chris is going to do there is he said he's marked where he needs that bend to be. We don't have a metal brake here on stage in our shop with us, so he's just going to crease it just a little bit, just score it just a little bit to relieve the metal, and then they're just going to bend it right there. They're going to clamp it down, and then it'll bend straight right on that line. Real simple, real clean, very efficient. You don't have to have $1 million worth of tools to customize a motorcycle. What you have to have is a desire and a passion and the willingness to try some stuff you've never tried before. So again, it's Grease and Gears Garage. You can go to YouTube, Grease and Gears Garage, and you can watch all these things. We can show you on there how to narrow a gas tank. We've made here on the Grease and Garage stage with Evan Favaro. We've taken an 18-gauge sheet of steel and we made a tank from scratch. We've made oil bags, we've spun fenders, built frames, done springers. So we're trying to give you all that information that we possibly can. All right. Now, what do you ladies think about these bikes we're building for you guys?
I think it's awesome that you guys built them yourselves. It's great.
Now, would you ride with somebody on this?
Definitely.
You would? Okay. It's what I wanted to hear. I knew that was going to happen. Tell them again. I said, would you ride with somebody? And she says,
I would ride it myself.
there you go. She would ride it herself. So that's the way to go. That's usually the answer I get when I ask girls out on dates. It's okay. I ride myself. I don't need that. That's okay. Anything's better than that option, sir. Thank you very much. Now, Billy, when do you think this bike's going to be done?
Tonight.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Well, I mean, look, I know, these guys got a lot of stuff going on, and they make it look easy. You know, they really do. I mean, these guys are so good at what they do. They make it look easy, but I know it takes a lot of time because they're also perfectionists. I mean, on a granular level, that's the perfection that these guys seek when they're building these bikes for us. So, Chris, it'll be done not tonight, tomorrow, right?
Week after next Tuesday at the latest. But, no, seriously, man, you know, Billy is such a good brother to us, and he takes care of everybody out at the rallies. When we built a motorcycle for him, we didn't want to do just like a yellow motorcycle with some stickers on it. Like when you look at this motorcycle, every piece of metal that's twisted on this, we built a jig and we hand twisted this stuff. We hammer forged these end pieces here, used real railroad spikes, hammer forged the end of them, hammer forged these square stocks to make them look like the railroad spikes. Like we took the time to build him an awesome motorcycle for Twisted Tea. So it does take a little bit of time. I don't think 6 months is that bad, but.
Hey, Bill Dodge had a guy send him a text. Bill was showing me earlier. Sent him he's an invited builder to Bill's BC Moto Show, and the guy said, man, I just turned down these hubs, and I've spent all day polishing them. I don't even know if it was worth the time. And Bill's reply was, it's always worth the time. And that's just it, man. This is always worth the time. And so if you're going to do it right, might as well do it, Barry, right? I mean, if you're going to do it all the way. First time, because you don't want to do it twice. Tell me where we are.
Okay, well, a couple things here. Come here, dear. Athena is a very dear friend of mine, but she's also a very dear friend of my girlfriend's, who can out deer hunt me. Don't you do it. And my girlfriend Vivian, Gypsy, and Athena have done 2 big bike builds. You did one in Times Square. Yep. Where else?
Live on the NBC Today Show, the Chopper Chick Crew. We did one at the Daytona International Speedway for the National Breast Cancer Foundation, which raised $1.4 million. And then we did one at the Harley 105th anniversary at Willie G's request.
And then Vivian, my girlfriend, is the, yeah, exactly.
She's my partner in crime on that.
And Vivian is the female on the Biker Build-Off series that y'all saw running the dual carb knucklehead that kicked the shit out of Kim Suter. I'm just saying. Yeah. So I just had my dear friend remove the crankcase studs out of the, all of the studs have been removed and the one bolt out of these crankcases. I want to say this right now. The 2 lower studs have a larger diameter, a light press fit than the hole. They go in with some resistance, and they're made to square the decks. Over the years, they don't square the decks anymore. So you really need to manipulate that. When you put these in, I always torque everything with the hardware I'm going to use when I line hone for the flywheels. All these studs are removed. I then true the decks to that off the center line of my crankcase. A lot of you guys don't have that ability. I know that. But you can take, before you put the flywheels in your mock-up, you can take a nice bastard file and true your decks up with your using hardware installed at 15 to 18 foot-pounds. That being said, we have a washer that was buried into the crankcases. It's cracked the crankcase. Common, we would weld that up. This bolt never came with a washer from Harley-Davidson. I have yet to figure that out, and it's always damaged. This one's damaged, standard stuff. That being said, I think, one more thing. Gasket sealer. I use a product called Gasket Cinch on my paper. A lot of it I use, or I don't use anything on it. If it's like a cork, silicone. I just pulled this gasket off, never seen it before. This is silicone on a lower gasket. This is a pre-63 Panhead, meaning that it oils from the crankcase through the cylinder into the head. That's how the rocker arms, that's how it gets its oil. Can you see this? Do you see that silicone? And it's just covering the oil feed. That's how it gets its oil. So when you use silicone, use it somewhere else. Use it in the bathroom, not on your motors. Don't do that. Yep. Sorry, Chris. and he's the one that forgot the nut too. So I mean, it's not very bad though. Yeah, that's not mold. So that being said, what I'm going to do is hand the microphone back off. I'm going to loosen up these crankcases. We're going to split them and see what's in there.
A lot of times you get to the point where you feel when you're working on a bike, you're thinking about I don't know how to do that. That's a perfect place to either ask a question or take it to somebody that knows how to do it. Honestly, there isn't any reason in the world that I can imagine why I in my shop in Iowa would ever build a Panhead engine knowing that Barry exists. I would just take the Panhead or the Knucklehead and I would send it or the Flathead, and I would send it to Barry and say, Barry, send this back to me with an invoice. Thank you very much. So Chris built this motor the first time, or the last time, I should say. He's not that old. He built it the last time, put it in a bike a couple of years ago, and now has decided to have Barry go back through it because it's not doing as well as what it needed to. So when you get to that point, just allow somebody that really knows how they do with technical stuff to deal with it.
But to actually give Chris a little bit of props, the motor and the bike, that bike's been through some stuff. I mean, it's been all over the country. I mean, a lot of rides. It's been broke along the road, fixed. I mean,
well, I asked Barry how might that piston have gotten scored, and he said, well, a lot of things, but he said it looks like it got broke in pretty hard. Might not have gone through the proper break-in procedure, so Chris might have ridden it a little hard too fast. So, Chris, why I oughta. So, all right, Bill is finished doing what he's doing. Chris, are you about to show us this seat pan? No? Oh, almost. We don't. That's why I don't have employees at Sin Central Garage, because I thought he said no. That's just what I assume employees say, so I'd rather be by myself. Plus, if I do something stupid, only my dog Diesel is there to pick on me, and he doesn't tell anybody. Now, again, Barry, you're heating that up to help relieve it.
I don't know what kind of sealant they've used to adhere these crankcases together, and I'm heating it up. I'm looking for maybe some bubbling from the oil. I'm looking for a detector, or I'm just going to heat it up, and then we're going to give her hell.
Because Barry has also, as he was disassembling other parts of this motor, covers and stuff, he's taken his MAP gas and he's heated up those bolts all over the place. He doesn't know what kind of material was used, or red Loctite or blue Loctite or what it was, but he wants to make sure that those relieve a little bit and they're not stuck in there, they're not hardened. So he heats them up, makes them easier to move, a little more pliable, and that way he's not going to round them off. He's not going to, his screwdriver, his tool's not going to slip and gouge a vintage case, and so he's just being very careful. He's splitting these. He's modified some scrapers here, some paint scrapers, sharpened some of them, blunted the edges on some of them to get down in some of these places instead of using a screwdriver. Who's done that before to get a cover off? Screwdriver, bang, and then in your case or whatever it's up against, you got that screwdriver gouge, right? So that's been really helpful, learning the paint scraper trick, modifying the tools to do that. And you'll see that he's got two hammers up here. He's got a dead blow hammer, and then he's got this ball peen hammer, which is actually pretty cool. He's had that thing since he was a teenager. It's a Firestone hammer, that ball peen hammer. But what he's doing is, if you'll notice, he's tapping. If you're working on your motorcycle and it requires a hammer, and you do anything more than tapping, you need to stop doing what you're doing because now you're just beating the hell out of your motors. Yeah. No, Chris.
You gotta work.
Chris said, if your grandma was born in 1949, would you hit her with a hammer? He said, no, you tap your grandma. And that's a sound clip you just don't ever want on stage. So Chris shouldn't have a microphone anymore. Yeah, that got weird quick. It's Chris. All right. Chris is making noise over there, so I'm going to shut up for a minute. All right, Chris, tell us. I'm going to hold it.
It's hot.
I can hold it. See, I'm a man. I don't need. No, I was kidding.
Okay, so like I said, we just got we scored our line here, got it on a hard edge of the lift table, clamped it down on both sides. We broke it up. Now we're taking a little bit of time and we're fine-tuning this edge so that we get a nice even quarter-inch all the way around where we want, so that when the material's on it from the upholster, it fits our lines exactly. So from here, we're going to start putting some bungs into the frame that we can put our mounting hardware, and actually bungs into the seat pan. But from there, man, we're like, maybe 20 minutes away of sending this out to the upholstery guy.
Thank you, Chris. Everybody says, I want a custom seat. So the first thing they do, guys will come to my shop. Maybe they got an older bike or they want something really original. They can't find anything really unique. I build a lot of seat pans for guys for, Road Kings, Road Glide, all kinds of stuff, just so that it's got a unique shape or depth or, they want to be pushed up further. Maybe there's got short legs, or maybe they're fat and they don't, it's hard, whatever the problem there is, you can do that. You just saw without a metal brake or anything fancy, we just made a seat pan in 30 minutes? And they've been goofing off back there. I know they have because they're on the clock, right? They're like you guys. So nobody was watching, so they weren't working. It's just like the rest of America. If nobody's watching us, we don't work. So we're fitting that seat pan there, and within a few minutes that'll be on there and it'll get upholstered. So you could do that at your own shop. That, again, now we've been able to show you here on Grease and Gears Garage really quickly. You can shave your lower legs, give your bike a custom look. You want to put a bigger front wheel on the front, maybe go to a 23. You can go to a 23 on most motorcycles and not have to change the trees on your bike. You don't have to change your rake. It'll still handle well. You want to lose that front fender. You want to shave those things. Now all of a sudden you're looking at maybe having turned your Sportster or your Dyna or whatever bike you picked up into a little bit more of a chopper. All of a sudden you got a cool looking bike over there. Now you know also how you can make a custom seat. It's just that simple. We had a guy here earlier ask Bill when he was shaving legs. It's completely off topic. But anyway, he said, hey, I want to change the front of my, he just walked out. I told him he could ask questions, so he comes up and asks a question. I'm a 10? She said, I think you're a 10. That's what I got out of that. I'm a 3. I'm going to claim that as a 3, not a 0. All right. We got 10 minutes, guys. Get on it. So anyway, we told him he has got a Vulcan. He wanted to put a bigger wheel on the front and stuff himself. Same thing. Get your local machinist involved. You don't know him, introduce himself. Introduce yourself. He's making a stupid widget, thousands of them every day. You come in with a motorcycle project asking him to make you an axle. He's going to do it because it's cool and he gets to think through something other than what he does every day. So include other people in community in your project, and that'll be good. Barry, we got 10 minutes. What are we looking at?
Okay, here we are. We've removed the right crankcase from the flywheels. Check this out. Ain't that freaking pretty? And y'all wanted to see those girls in bikinis. That's hot. Now, what we found out is on the numbers here, we have a 150/40. And we have a lock tab for our crank pin. It's at the 12 o'clock position. That, boys and girls, is a 74 cubic inch flywheel. We're hot rodding now. It's 1977 now. So what we have is the right crankcase is off. They used cage roller bearings. I kept a couple out so you could see them. This is the pinion shaft. And what's interesting, on these early models, you control the in-play of the flywheel in the crankcase by 2 thrust washers. I will try to remove this thrust washer. Got it? It's pinned and it's notched for clearancing. But your in-play is controlled by these thrust washers, and they come in a gaggle of thicknesses. You have one on each side of the flywheel. So we can actually right now remove the flywheel, not press it out of that left crankcase because it has the same type of bearing as we have on the right-hand side. Any questions? Anything? Panhead? Who has a panhead out there? Anybody got a panhead? You, come here. Right now before I scold you. I'm going to give you a set of my silicon panhead gaskets just because you're so damn pretty. Thank you, brother. God bless you, man. What year's your panhead? Woo! I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
He's got a 64 Panhead. He just gave him those gaskets. 64. They stopped making them in 65, right? They almost had gotten them right, or they finally was like, this isn't getting any better. No, those are good, venerable bikes. They just decided to move to the shovelhead, which I know you think was an excellent move, right, Barry?
I do them all, but I've met a lot of people with 1964 knuckleheads, believe it or not.
So, hey, listen, Billy, get up here. I want to do 2 things. One thing is Progressive Motorcycle Insurance. When you leave here, go over there, do a couple of things for me. One, tell them how amazing I am. No. Don't tell them you appreciated them bringing Grease and Gears Garage, though, because they really have. They invest a lot of time, a lot of energy in what they're doing at motorcycle events all over the country. It's amazing to me. I was a spokesperson for Progressive for about 5 years, enjoyed every minute of it, and could not believe from the inside out how committed they are to making all of these experiences that we have better in the motorcycle world. But, Billy, so anyway, Progressive, go over there. Sign up for the Indian they're giving away. They're giving away a brand new 18 Indian Scout. So go over there and sign up for that. I think that's great. You can win that. We also are getting the opportunity, the Sportster up here that Bill Dodge shaved the lower legs on for us. We're getting this bike ready. That bike is a bike that they're asked us to build for them, too. So keep up with us on social media. You can go to Cycle Source Magazine, Grease and Gears Garage, Progressive MC. You can go to Sin Central Garage, which is mine. Any of those. Keep up with that, Bill, because that Progressive bike's coming along. But we're also building this tracker tee for Billy. And, Billy, tell me a little bit about the giveaway on this bike.
All right, thanks, Pat. Yeah, the way you can enter to win this bike is you could go to cyclesource.com or twistedtee.com, or you could go to Instagram and you upload a picture, unwind with a twist. And we wanted to see how you're unwinding with a twist. So take a picture of yourself with Twisted Tea in your hand, not no Bud Light. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, all right. And then just send it in there, and then you're entered to win. And I'm telling you, man, this bike is going to be bad to the bone. I mean, if you think this one's bad, where do you see this next one that they're building? It's going to be nuts.
Thanks, Billy. Ladies and gentlemen, give Billy and Twisted Tea Girls a big round of applause. They also bring a lot to the events. Everybody here is here just to make sure that we all have a good time. So thank you, ladies. We're sorry for objectifying you, but thank you for allowing us to. So is that fair? All right, this is the last step, Barry.
Flywheel removal.
All right, he's going to pull the flywheel.
Drum roll or something. Who loves you?
All right. And if you ever do this to your motor, and it's the first time you've ever do it, you're screwed, right? At this point, you're in trouble. Taking stuff apart's really easy. Putting it together is really hard. So, all right, Barry, that's it. That's all there is to tearing down a Panhead. We've done this. At first, we gave him an hour, and then he said, I can't do this. This is a 5-hour job. And then, so we've been doing this now for 2 days. He thought he'd be back in Dothan by now.
In my shop, it normally takes about 8 hours to tear one down before we start to properly clean it. So it's hard to do in 2 hours, but it was darn fun.
Yeah, Barry, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wall of Death is getting ready to go. You got to go see that. That's a lot of fun. Don't put your beers on the rail. You can kill those guys doing it. So go over there and see them. Grease and Gears Garage. We'll be back tomorrow a couple of times. Thank you very much. Check us out on YouTube. Grease and Gears Garage, Progressive Motorcycle Insurance.
We're going to do 3